Good news, everyone. If you've been bundling up in layers, braving icy sidewalks and dreaming of warmer days, your patience is about to pay off. There's a major change in the weather on the horizon, and it's something many of us have been waiting for. After weeks of bitter cold across the Midwest and East, where temperatures have dipped well below freezing and snow has blanketed neighborhoods, it's finally time for a shift. Many cities have seen some of the coldest days of the season, with wind chills making it feel even more brutal. But now, a major shift in the weather pattern is on the way. Meteorologists have been tracking this change for days, and the latest models show a dramatic transformation in the jet stream that will affect millions of people. The Arctic air that's kept us shivering is finally moving out. That stubborn mass of cold, dense air that's been parked over the region is retreating northward, making room for a new, milder air mass to take its place. This is what meteorologists call a pattern flip. Think of it as flipping a switch from Arctic blast to milder air. It's a dramatic reversal that doesn't happen often, and it means big changes are ahead for our daily routines. Instead of icy winds from the north, we'll soon feel gentler Pacific breezes. These winds bring air that's not only warmer, but also a bit more humid, which can make the cold feel less biting, and the air more comfortable to breathe. That means temperatures will climb, and those single-digit highs are about to be history. In some places, you could see the mercury rise by 20 degrees or more in just a few days, making it feel like an early taste of spring. Daily life is about to get a lot more comfortable for millions. You'll notice people spending more time outdoors, kids playing in parks again, and neighbors chatting on sidewalks as the snow begins to melt away. Even nature will respond to the change. Icicles will start to drip, snow piles will shrink, and you might even hear the first birdsong of the season as wildlife senses the warmer air. The transition won't be instant, but you'll notice the difference day by day. Each morning you might find yourself reaching for a lighter jacket, and by the end of the week, those heavy boots could be swapped for sneakers. Warmer air is on the horizon, so you can start shedding a layer or two. The sun will feel a little stronger, and the days will seem just a bit longer as the season starts to turn. But don't put away all your winter gear just yet. While the worst of the cold is behind us, quick changes are still possible, and a chilly day or two could sneak back in before spring fully arrives. We'll explain why as we dig into what's causing this winter warm-up. From shifting jet streams to changes in ocean temperatures, there's a fascinating science behind this big change, and we'll break it all down for you. So, get ready to enjoy the outdoors again, plan a walk, or maybe even dust off your bike. The coming days will bring a welcome break from the deep freeze and a chance to reconnect with the world outside. Let's celebrate the coming thaw and see what's behind this big change. Warmer, brighter days are just ahead. You've probably heard about the polar vortex. It's not science fiction, and it's definitely not just a buzzword tossed around by meteorologists. The polar vortex is a real and powerful force that shapes our winter weather, and when it acts up, we all feel it. If you've been wondering why it's been so bitterly cold lately, the answer lies high above us, swirling around the top of the world. The polar vortex is the main culprit behind the recent bone-chilling temperatures gripping much of the country. It's responsible for those mornings when you step outside and the cold seems to cut right through your layers, making even a short walk feel like an Arctic expedition. So, what exactly is the polar vortex? Imagine a massive, swirling pool of icy air that sits high in the atmosphere, circling the North Pole like a spinning top. Most of the time, this frigid air stays locked up far to the north, contained by strong winds that act like a fence, keeping the cold in place. But sometimes that fence weakens or breaks down. When this happens, the polar vortex becomes unstable and starts to wobble, sending long arms, or lobes, of Arctic air plunging southward into areas that are usually much milder. This is when we experience those sudden extreme cold snaps that seem to come out of nowhere. That's exactly what's happened recently. The polar vortex has dipped down, bringing a surge of icy air that's left cities across the Midwest and East Coast buried under snow and shivering in record-low temperatures. Streets are quieter, cars are buried, and everyone's bundled up, bracing against the relentless chill. This isn't your average winter chill. It's a deep penetrating cold that seeps into homes, strains heating systems, and makes even simple tasks like shoveling snow or waiting for the bus feel like a challenge. For many, it's a reminder of just how powerful nature can be, and how quickly our daily routines can be disrupted by a shift in the atmosphere. It's important to remember that the polar vortex isn't a storm in the traditional sense. There's no single front or system to track on the radar. Instead, it's more like the parent of the cold air that fuels our winter blasts, setting the stage for everything from blizzards to icy winds. Meteorologists keep a close eye on the polar vortex, because understanding its behavior is key to predicting when the cold will ease up. By tracking its movements and changes, they can give us a heads up about when to expect relief, or when to brace for another round of frigid air. The good news is that the polar vortex doesn't stay in one place forever. As the atmosphere shifts and the winds strengthen, the vortex can retreat back to the Arctic, allowing milder air to return. We're starting to see signs of this change now, with temperatures slowly beginning to rise and the sun peeking through the clouds a little more each day. That means relief is finally on the way. Soon, we'll be able to shed a few layers, enjoy some time outdoors, and watch as the snow begins to melt, signaling the slow but steady approach of spring. So, as we watch this dramatic shift unfold, let's appreciate the science behind our weather, and look forward to warmer days ahead. The polar vortex, a vast, spinning mass of cold air high above the Arctic, has long been a key player in shaping winter weather across the northern hemisphere. For decades, it's been responsible for some of the most intense cold snaps, sending frigid air plunging southward and blanketing cities in snow and ice. But recently, scientists have noticed something remarkable. The behavior of the polar vortex is shifting in ways that are both fascinating and consequential. The same polar vortex that brought the deep freeze to millions just weeks ago, forcing people to bundle up against biting winds and record-breaking low temperatures, is now beginning to change course. Instead of continuing to unleash waves of Arctic air, it's now setting the stage for a thaw. Across many regions, the first signs of this shift are already visible. Snowbanks are shrinking, rivers are breaking free from their icy grip, and the harshest cold is slowly retreating. Meteorologists, closely monitoring satellite data and atmospheric models, see clear signs that the vortex is strengthening and pulling back northward. This means the coldest air is being locked over the Arctic once again, rather than spilling south into populated areas. This process is known as consolidation. Essentially, the polar vortex is rejoining and stabilizing over the pole, becoming more organized and less likely to break apart and send cold air south. When the vortex is strong and centered over the Arctic, it acts like a massive atmospheric fence. It keeps the coldest air bottled up near the pole, preventing it from escaping and causing extreme cold spells further south. For much of the northern hemisphere, this marks a return to a more typical winter pattern. Instead of wild temperature swings and sudden deep freezes, we can expect steadier, more predictable weather, at least for a while. The transition from deep freeze to thaw doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, unfolding over days and weeks. But as the polar vortex consolidates, its effects will soon be felt at the surface, with milder temperatures and a slow but steady retreat of snow and ice. Already, people are noticing the difference. Heavy coats and scarves are being traded for lighter jackets, and the once icy streets are beginning to clear. The relentless waves of extreme cold are fading, replaced by a gentler, more manageable winter. Instead of acting as a conveyor belt for Arctic air, the reorganized vortex is now opening the door for milder air masses to move in from the south. This shift is allowing temperatures to rise and landscapes to thaw, signaling the end of the harshest part of winter. The main driver of our recent cold, the polar vortex itself, is losing its grip. As it retreats, the atmosphere is undergoing a fundamental transformation, setting the stage for a significant warm-up. This shift isn't just a minor change, it's a key factor in the upcoming warm-up. The entire atmospheric system is realigning, and that means big changes are on the horizon for weather patterns across the continent. Next, let's take a closer look at how the jet stream, the high-altitude river of air that steers storms and shapes our weather, responds to these changes in the polar vortex. Because when the polar vortex shifts, the jet stream follows, and that's where the real transformation in our weather begins. With the polar vortex retreating, the jet stream, the fast-moving river of air above us, is changing course. When the vortex was weak, the jet stream dipped south, letting Arctic air pour in. Now, it's flattening out, shifting to a west-to-east flow. This new pattern blocks Arctic air and opens the door for milder Pacific air. The jet stream will carry this temperate air across the country, bringing a big temperature rebound. The polar vortex moves north, the jet stream flattens, and together they break the cold spell. The highway for Arctic air closes, and a new one for milder air opens. Get ready to say goodbye to brutal cold and hello to a more manageable winter. This upper atmosphere shift is a game changer. Let's look at what this means for your local temperatures. So, what does this warm-up look like on the thermometer? We're talking about highs jumping 10 to 30 degrees above recent weeks. Cities like Chicago and Minneapolis could see highs climb from the teens into the 30s. In the east, places like New York and DC may reach the 40s, or even near 50. It'll feel like a different season, light jackets instead of heavy parkas. The biggest rebounds will be in the central and southern states, where less snow means faster warming. You'll notice the difference in daily life. Warmer sun, less demand on heating, and more time outdoors. But remember, it's still February. Nights will dip below freezing, creating a freeze-thaw cycle. That means icy spots in the morning, so stay cautious. Enjoy the milder afternoons, but keep an eye out for slick roads and sidewalks. Even with warmer afternoons, don't expect all the snow and ice to disappear overnight. Deep snowpack in the Midwest and Northeast reflects sunlight and slows the warming process. The incoming Pacific air will spend energy melting what's already on the ground. Areas with lots of snow will warm up more slowly than bare ground. The warm-up will be gradual, especially up north. Storms can still happen, but they'll be less likely to bring pure Arctic air. Some may see rain, others a messy mix. So keep your snow shovels handy. The freeze-thaw cycle will create icy spots overnight, especially on roads and sidewalks. The worst cold is behind us, but winter's hazards aren't gone. We're just trading one set of challenges for another. Is this warm-up here to stay? Forecasts show above-average temperatures for at least 1 to 2 weeks. That's a solid break from the deep freeze through mid-February. But meteorologists are watching for signs the polar vortex could weaken again later in the month. If a sudden stratospheric warming event occurs, cold could return by late February or early March. So, enjoy the mild stretch but don't let your guard down. Winter may have one last act. Stay tuned for updates as we track the changing pattern. After heavy snow, flooding is always a concern during a warm-up, but this thaw will be gradual, not a rapid melt with heavy rain like in 1996. The slow pace gives snow time to melt and rivers time to handle runoff. Nighttime freezes will pause melting, reducing flood risk. Some minor flooding is possible in low spots, but major river flooding is unlikely. The lack of a big rainstorm is key to keeping flood risk low. We can enjoy the milder weather without worrying about a major flood disaster. As the milder weather arrives, enjoy it. Get outside and shake off the winter blues, but stay weather aware. The freeze-thaw cycle means icy mornings, so be careful on sidewalks and roads. Clear storm drains if you can, to help prevent water pooling as snow melts. Remember, winter isn't over. Keep your coats and gloves handy in case the cold returns. Stay tuned to your local forecast for updates on temperatures and any new storms. We'll keep you informed every step of the way. By staying prepared and aware, you'll stay safe and comfortable. Enjoy the thaw, watch for ice, and we'll get through this together.